Listen up. If your lower back feels like a rusty hinge and your hips have the mobility of a Lego man, we need to talk. We are diving into 8 isometric holds that actually work. These are not fluffy influencer stretches. They are physical therapist-approved lung busters designed to fix your hips, ankles, and back for good. Here is the cold truth. Our modern lifestyle is a slow-motion train wreck. We spend 8 hours a day glued to chairs, shaped like human question marks. This constant sitting turns your hip flexors into tight guitar strings and makes your spine scream for mercy. And please, stop lying to yourself. That lazy foam rolling is just a tiny band-aid on a shark bite. It feels okay for 10 minutes before your body stiffens right back up. You do not need more stretching. You need to own the tension.
All right, first up, we are tackling the deep squat hold. This is the ultimate I sit too much antidote. Setup is easy. Feet shoulder width apart, toes pointed out just a little bit. Now, drop your hips down as low as you can go, but you must keep those heels super glued to the floor. No cheating. Your knees should track over your toes, and you better fight to keep that chest up and that spine dead straight. Do not collapse like a wet noodle. This is the antidote to the corporate hunch. It essentially force feeds lubrication back into your rusty hips and ankle joints. You are physically pulling those shortened, atrophied tissues from your desk chair days back to life, taking the murderous pressure off your lower back. Your goal is simply to survive here. Start with 20 to 30 seconds of pure agony, then gradually build up until you can own this pose for 60 seconds of deep, focused breathing. Use a doorway for balance if needed. Next up, we are tackling the 90-90 hip hold. This is where we find out just how much your desk job has actually ruined your mobility. Sit on the floor and place one leg in front of you at a perfect 90-degree angle. Do the exact same thing with your back leg. Now here is the hard part. Sit tall. I mean dead straight, like you have a wire pulling your head toward the ceiling. No slouching and no leaning away from the tension like a coward. This movement is pure gold for your hip health. It forces both internal and external rotation back into those neglected joints. When your hips cannot rotate properly, your lower back has to pick up the slack, and that is a recipe for chronic pain. Your goal is 30 to 60 seconds of deep breathing on each side. If you feel like your hips are made of solid concrete right now, do not panic. Just sit on a yoga block or a folded towel to take the edge off.
Now, let us talk about your shoulders. Most of you have the overhead mobility of a piece of plywood. If reaching for a top shelf feels like a major athletic event, you have a serious stability problem. We are fixing that right now with the wall shoulder hold. Stand facing a wall and reach both hands as high as possible. Here is the golden rule. Do not let your ribs flare out like a pufferfish. Keep your core tight and your spine neutral while you push your palms hard into that surface. This is not just standing around, it is an active battle. You are waking up your serratus anterior and those tiny rotator cuff muscles that have been snoozing since high school. These are the guardians of your shoulder blade. By holding this tension, you are teaching your body how to actually stabilize the joint during overhead movements. Stop blaming old age for your stiff shoulders and start building some real structural integrity. Push into the wall and breathe. Now we are moving to the floor for the bird dog hold. This is the gold standard for anyone who wants a spine made of titanium instead of glass. Get on all fours and extend your right arm forward while kicking your left leg back. Both should be perfectly parallel to the ground. Here is the trick. Imagine there is a boiling hot cup of coffee resting on your lower back. If your hips tilt or your spine arches like a scared cat, you are getting burned. Keep everything dead level and rock solid. This is not just a balancing act, it is high-level core recruitment. You are teaching your body how to maintain a neutral spine while your limbs are moving independently. This cross-body tension is exactly what protects your discs when you are lifting heavy groceries or playing with your kids. Start with 20 to 30 seconds of pure focus on each side, building up to a full minute. No wobbling allowed. Now, lie down and look at the ceiling, because we are doing the dead bug hold. If your lower back arches like a bridge every time you lift something heavy, your core is essentially a wet paper bag. We are fixing that right now. Lay on your back, bring your knees up, and press your spine so hard into the floor that a piece of paper could not slide under it. Now, slowly extend one leg and the opposite arm toward the ground. Here is the deal.
If your back lifts even a millimeter off that floor, you have failed the mission. This is the ultimate lesson in anti-extension. You are teaching your abs how to actually fight against your spine's urge to arch and snap. By maintaining this brutal tension, you are building a biological weight belt that protects your lumbar spine during real-world movements. Stop doing useless sit-ups that hurt your neck and start owning this position for 30 seconds. Keep that back flat.
Now stand up and stop wobbling because we are moving to the single leg balance. This might look like you are just waiting for a bus, but it is actually a diagnostic test for your entire lower body. Shift your weight onto one foot and lift the other just a few inches off the ground. Find a spot on the wall to stare at like you are trying to burn a hole through it with your eyes. This focus is your anchor while your nervous system works overtime. This move is a wake-up call for those tiny stabilizer muscles in your feet, ankles, and hips that have gone dormant from wearing stiff shoes all day. If you want to remain independent and avoid falling when you are 80, you need to master this right now. Aim for 30 to 60 seconds per side. Once you stop shaking like a leaf, try closing your eyes or standing on a soft pillow to really test your sanity. Balance is the foundation of longevity. It is time to get back on the floor for the Prone Swimmer ISO. If you spend your day hunched over a laptop like a gargoyle, your upper back is probably as weak as a wet noodle. Lie face down and reach your arms forward to create a wide Y shape. Now, engage your entire posterior chain and lift your chest, arms, and legs off the ground simultaneously. Keep your eyes glued to the floor. Do not look up and crank your neck like you are watching a plane crash. This move is a direct strike against the modern slouch. You are forcing your upper back and rear shoulders to actually do their job for once. By holding this position, you are strengthening the muscles that keep your spine upright and your shoulders pulled back. Start with 15 to 20 seconds of focused tension and aim to reach 45 seconds. Stop accepting that rounded back is your destiny and start building some real structural strength. Lift higher and breathe.
Last one, and we are finishing strong with the Prone Cobra Hold. If you look like a question mark from the side, your upper back is officially on strike. This rounded posture is why your shoulders ache and your lower back is doing double the work it was designed for. Lie face down on the floor. Now peel your chest and hands off the ground. Rotate your thumbs toward the ceiling and squeeze your shoulder blades down toward your back pockets. No shrugging toward your ears. This is the ultimate posture corrector. You are waking up your rhomboids and thoracic extensors, the muscles that actually keep you upright. By holding this tension, you are teaching your body to move from the mid-back rather than just snapping your lower spine every time you reach back. Start with 20 seconds of focused squeeze and build your way up to a full minute. Stop being a slave to your desk chair and start standing like you actually have some confidence.
Time to execute. Run this routine 4 to 5 times weekly. It takes 20 minutes to save your spine. Do 2 sets per move. Beginners, hold 20 seconds with 40 seconds rest. Advanced, hold 45 seconds with 30 seconds rest. Consistency is the only secret here. Results show up in weeks, not minutes. Focus on progress, not perfection. Use assistance if you are weak. Just do the work. Stop treating symptoms with temporary stretches and start fixing the root cause. Own your tension, build your foundation, and stop being a fragile passenger in your own body. Train hard.